The one case in point, when I went through this last year, I was with JGL. We were running nationwide, and I had Mike Wallace was my driver, some of the races, and I had various other drivers in my car. We, the Gibbs nationwide cars, they will sim. They'll spend 2 weeks simming setups for a specific race and know what not to do or what does not work, where we come with one engineer and he doesn't have time to sim all the setups. So we have to try them physically at the racetrack, and you just don't have time. So you're behind. I'm behind 2 weeks before I even go to the racetrack.
God, that's unbelievable. Well, so when you say they get to sim everything, how are they doing that?
With a sim program, it basically has all the parameters of the chassis, and this is all data that's been received that they've collected from having telemetry on their cars at a test. So the more data they get, the better that program will spit out the information they need.
Well, like anything, it's only as good as the info you put in it. So,
right.
Wow, that's amazing. So can you imagine, Shane, showing up at the BK7 2 weeks behind what everybody else is doing?
That's tough. We got a little bit different on dirt, obviously because the track's always changing, but still, you see enough info out there, you get enough information, you're going to come up with the right thing. And so that's definitely a tough deal to compete with people like that can be on top of it from the get-go.
Absolutely. And Dave, you ran dirt and asphalt. I mean, it's a little bit different because you're back there on those bigger tracks. But
I'd rather run.
You'd rather run dirt?
I'd rather run dirt. I had much more fun on dirt.
And why is that? Do you suppose?
Well, I would say because you get to hunt for a groove. It's not follow the leader. Every once in a while, like where you and I ran at Willamette Speedway, it gets so slick you can't go anywhere. But then you got Bob Jeffries that used to teach us where the moisture was. So now, when you're dirt racing, you get to hunt for a place for bite. It may be in the gutter, it may be up on the wall.
Right, but it's up to you to find it. And on asphalt, I mean, is it just one groove and everything else is a dare to go outside?
As the technology and the cars get faster, it's harder to run side by side on an asphalt track. The shortest way around the racetrack is 9 times out of 10 the fastest way.
Yeah, it seems like most of the time when you see them running up top, they're saving tires. They're not trying not trying to burn them up down on the bottom, running the fast lane.
Yeah, and that true. But do you save any rubber going upstairs like that, cruising like Petty used to do up against the wall, just kind of rolling?
Oh, absolutely. See, that was old momentum racing on bias fly tires.
And so everything's on radial now. I'm taking it.
Everything's on everything in the top 4 series is radials.
Wow. And how is
at $2,500 a set?
Unbelievable. I mean, and you're talking about astronomical. I mean, that's great. So I know around here the late model scene it's kind of different. I mean, it's so many of the things have dried up. The Northwest Tour's gone. They've tried some other things, the ARCA series they called it, and then the ASA thing for a while. And then Garrett started this new tri-track series, which is Hermiston. I believe it's Yakima, Wenatchee, and then they're going to run this year at Evergreen. And then I hear they also got on at State Line, and they're trying to do that, to promote the super late models. But I guess what I'm saying is there's a lot of people doing that are thinking and aspiring to go back there to run NASCAR. Having seen all that and kind of done it yourself, what?
Money. It's money.
Has nothing to do with talent anymore?
And I can't say it has nothing to do with talent, but to get seen, you've got to run up front. And to run up front, it takes money. a lot of the drivers nowadays, and and I'm not knocking any of their talent because every one of them out there is talented. And you remember JJ's favorite saying: the best race car driver's never been in a race car before. He's flipping hamburgers at McDonald's. But case in point, Dylan Kwasniewski won 2 Winston West, or it's not Winston West anymore. It's K&N West Series championships, costing $65,000 a race to win the championship.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
and he had to buy the ride.
Yeah, the money's definitely on the forefront. Obviously you have to have the talent to support it, but almost dollar comes first nowadays.
Right. Well, and don't misunderstand me. You had Carl Edwards. He was found running IMCA modifieds. What, in Arkansas? No, not Arkansas. Missouri.
Yeah, he was handing out. He was handing out flyers with his face on it, trying to get a ride.
He worked his butt off for that, and I don't know that a lot of people are willing. I mean, they all want the big thing, but are they willing to go get it? I mean, it takes. I mean, especially now. But Carl Edwards did it the hard way. But it just shows you, if you want something bad enough, you got to go after it.
Absolutely.
So now, what are your? So you said you're are you the team manager for this ARCA team, or what?
I am operations manager. Basically, I've been contracted to help the business side, and I just happen to be put into the crew chief role for their 40 car.
So, in a nutshell, kind of walk us through the life of Dave Goulet, the operations manager.
Oh my word!
What time are you up?
Myself, I'm up before 5 o'clock and doing emails, doing cash flow projections, budget projections, keeping us on budget, and then I'll go to work on a race car by 8 o'clock.
And when you're working on the race cars, what are you doing exactly?
Anything from upgrading pivot points, working on spindles, assembling cars, hanging bodies, repairing bodies.
Wow! So your day is pretty full, and then after lunch, are you back in the office, or are you still working on race cars?
No, then I'll be usually in the evenings. I'll go back to the office. Right now, I actually I split my time between the race shop and my new location, which is Rhode Island.
Man, so what I take it you're spending a couple weeks down there working, and then you head home for a couple weeks, or?
Yeah. Then I head home, and while I'm at home, it's strictly emails and still watch budgets, cash flow projections, whatnot, help with proposals.
Man,
that's a busy life for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and they came wanting you. Is that correct?
Yes, he did. I have Roger Carter, owner of the team. I've worked for him on and off. During my off season, I'd go and repair bodies for him, help him with some of his cars, and this is the first time I've actually worked for him full time, knowing him for the last must have been 7 years.
Well, we've only got a few minutes left, but I wanted to ask you. I mean, and this is serious because I think it's important that a lot of these drivers, know. I mean, so in your personal opinion, if you were here racing late models, and let's just assume you had a little bit of talent that could make that you could maybe make it. What are the top? Maybe give us the top 5 things in your mind that they should be doing to prepare to go back there if they want any chance of getting a shot.
Number 1 is networking. Get to know the right people in the right places. Know as many people as you can. Get your name out there as much as you can. I'm trying not to not to point out anything like, well, the three of us already know, equipment preparation, setup, latest setup. But see, that all comes from when you're networking and you're getting people in your corner, you get the upgraded information, latest information. People know where you're going to be. Number one is networking.
So your social
and go in the snowball derby.
That definitely helps.
So and number two would be.
Yeah, 1 through 5 is networking.
That's it, really. That's what. So how big is social media back there? I mean, do they need to have their social media good? Their Facebook, their Twitter, their Tumblr, whatever it is.
Absolutely. Which is, I guess I clumped it all into networking.
Right.
So there's plenty of avenues that you branch off of the networking, which is relationships, like you say, social media, getting to know the media themselves, and getting them to single you out when they're at an event.
And what do you do that by just maybe kissing their fanny, or how do you do that?
9 times out of 10, the best way to approach anybody in the media is in a genuine situation, them by themselves walking through. You've got to be where they're at, and they're at the big event.
All right, those of you just tuning in, we're almost out of time, but we've been talking with former NASCAR Northwest Tour standout Dave Goulet, who's also back crew chiefing an ARCA team, and he's given us some pointers. So I hope everybody's listening here, because these are the little things that even as karters you can start to apply now that's going to make you a better racer down the road. I mean, they're habits.
Absolutely. What he's just talked about, that doesn't fit just the NASCAR stuff. That fits any form of racing. You got to be out there. You have to be able to know the right people and be presentable too. You've said it many times before, talking about, the crew's got to look good, the driver's got to look good, the cart's got to look good. It's all a package, and if you want to get that big time ride, you got to make it look like you deserve that ride.
Absolutely, and that's how. I think what's your terminology, Dave? Smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors.
There's some big dollars back there, and so are you? So out of 10 drivers that are going to try to come back there, how many are going to actually, do you think, will make it?
Wow.
Just roughing. It's just an idea, just to give people an idea.
And that's a broad question too. What do we consider making it?
Well, let's assume they all have pretty good money, and they're fairly talented. And they wouldn't be there. Is there going to be, other than the networking thing, is there going to be something that burns them where they aren't going to make it?
Now, honestly, it's just as much as chance. You got to have, for someone to move up, you got to have an opening. You got to have a place for them to go. You could, you could fund it yourself. You could fund it yourself by teaming up with a team. You could go to just off the top of my head, just say you're going to go to a Gibbs and you're going to bring them $7 million for a nationwide season. I want to run for you. I have $7 million and a sponsor. Let's put a package together. I'm going to run your cars. See, now you've taken their technology and you just put yourself one step further.
Wow.
And it's no different. You got to take Brandon Gong. Brandon Gong, his family funds his racing with the South Point casinos. That's his family's casinos in Las Vegas, and he runs for RCR.
And so he brings them a constant flow of money. Therefore, he pretty much has a ride whenever he wants it. Correct?
Exactly. And that's that's the top. And I hate to say it again, but it's really hard. It's really hard to compete against money.
Right.
And money doesn't always buy you wins.
Well, when you could have two drivers, both almost identical, with talent.